Everybody, I'm Vincent Meza. This is Listings to Leads, and this is our class on Facebook advertising, how to get buyers and sellers. Usually I like to start the class with kind of, the new technology that we're launching. We're always adding kind of new things going on, but also I want to talk about the resources that I see a lot of new people on the call here today. So I definitely want to let everybody know that we have a mastermind group on Facebook. It is a private group. So if you're not in it, you won't be able to find it. Okay. Scott and I put a lot of information here. A lot of our clients put questions and they share things. And since we're talking about Facebook today, I will point out that Kelly Wheeler put in a video just yesterday where he's talking about how he's getting 18 leads with name, email, and phone number. I'm going to show you exactly how you do that. By the way, in this video that he's talking about, he borrowed a listing. So he didn't even have a listing. He just borrowed a listing in an area where he wanted leads and ran an ad and got a bunch of buyer leads. And I know that right now things are changing in the market, right? Interest rates are moving up, all kinds of weird dynamics happening in the real estate market. And what I'm going to show you today is actually right. It's working today. That was a day ago. Kelly was generating leads over the weekend. And, I'm certain you may have heard, I talk to realtors every day, just the volume of people walking through homes has decreased, right? Mortgage rates are going up. So everything's just sort of like changing. But what is not changing is the ability to capture leads with name, email, and phone number from Facebook and other tools. So we're going to focus on Facebook today. This is another page that I think is really, really helpful. I'm going to copy it right now, but if you look for listings to leads on YouTube, you're going to see that we've got our channel and we have all of sorry, I think I clicked on the thing. All of our live classes, like the one we're doing right now, are recorded and they're here. And there's three that I want to point out. We kind of have I'm going to point out this page. I just sent it to everybody on the call, but if you go and you're seeing this as a recording and you go to our YouTube channel and you go to videos, you're going to see everything that we do. Now, Scott's doing a series right now on how to make $250,000 in real estate, right? And it talks about lead gen and developing your pipeline and all the ways to do that. So that's a really good series. You'll see that here. You see the title, it says how to make 250K in real estate. That is the series there. But I also do classes for get started. And this is for new clients. And it sure looks to me like I got a lot of new clients on this call today. I definitely recommend that because it talks about how to set things up and a high level look at all the ways that you can use our system. There's also this call here, which is top tools to get more listings. And if you want more listings in your business, I definitely recommend that you watch that. Okay. And then there is Facebook advertising, which is our class today. And so you'll see here Facebook ads. I do want to point out a couple of things though on which is we might get into it today, but right here in this column down here, there's two videos that you can see. It says best way to get listings from Facebook and new strategy to get high quality listings from Facebook. Now, these are two different calls, but I was talking about a new strategy that is designed to get listings from Facebook. And I don't know if we'll get into details there, but again, if you want more listings in your business, you definitely want to use this strategy. Okay. And while I might sound like a robot, I am not a robot. So I kind of forget, I don't say everything on every call. I'm not running from a script here. I'm just telling you what we know. And so I am going to get into some detail about this new strategy today, but I may not get in deep. And if you want to get listing leads out of Facebook, which I recommend because it's cheap and easy, you want to look at those two videos. Okay. So that's our YouTube channel. Definitely check that out. Now, if you're not a client, well, you can always start a free trial up here. You get 2 free weeks and everything I'm going to show you is in this. It's included in the trial. Everything is month to month. So if you don't like it or it's kind of over your head, you can cancel whatever you want. I'm going to log into my account and let's go right. And so I did have one person respond. I asked the question earlier. I see more people coming in. have you run ads on Facebook before? And Ebert said, yeah, I run ads directly on Facebook and I was running a lead gen ad. That's great. So if you run an ad, I'm not going to do it. And I'll just tell you this, like, in case you don't know this about our company, we started about 13 years ago. We began right around that time of the mortgage meltdown. And so listings to leads has been longer. It's been around longer than Facebook advertising. Okay. So day one, in the first week when Facebook launched their ad platform, we were training on it. We were training agents how to run ads on Facebook, and it's been great. And Facebook changes all the time. So we've always had to kind of surf that and keep on top of what's going on with, with their ad platform. And I can tell you today, as it's difficult. It is difficult. Evert said that he was running ads on Facebook. It's like to run an ad in Facebook, it's about 3 pages and maybe 10 to 15 clicks to have a successful ad. So when I talk to realtors, and I've been talking to realtors for 15 years, the first question about Facebook is, have you run an ad on Facebook? And really that's the first fork in the road. There's yes, and there's no. And then for the agents who have run ads, it's like, did you have success on that? And then there's another fork in the road. And that one is yes and no, right? And so that means that there's a lot of realtors who are running ads on Facebook who are getting like close to 0 results. They don't know why that's happening, right? And it's, in a way, it's not their fault because Facebook is a pain. You would really need to have an in-depth class from somebody like me telling you, click here, click here, click here. And guess what? You're going to forget what I'm saying because why wouldn't you? There's like a dozen things you got to click to have a successful ad. And what's awesome about that is that now, if you come into listings to leads and you go to our ads tab, you may not recognize it, but we have Facebook software embedded in our platform now. Facebook developed an API. We have mapped to it. And you can now run an ad in 1 click instead of 12 clicks, right? So when we come to our ads page, I'm already connected to mine. If you're coming here for the first time, you're going to see 2 buttons. You're going to see connect to Facebook and then connect to Google. And Google is we're in beta with Google right now, meaning we have Google software too, and you'll be able to run ads. We're configuring all the ads that you can write. You'll be able to run ads with PDF reports and get leads from Google too. But the focus of this class is Facebook. So once you get here and you connect to Facebook, I'll just tell you, it's going to say connect to Facebook. You're going to click it. It's going to take you to a Facebook page and it's going to say, is this you? And it's got your name on it, right? Because it's recognizing your computer and you have to say, yes, it's me. And when I click yes, it's going to take me to a list of my business pages, and you choose what business page you want to reflect, what business page you want to run ads. And then once you've done that, you will have you'll have this Facebook button showing and you'll have connect to Google, right? So now that I'm connected, I can click on this green button and you can see that we can run 3 kinds of ads: a listing ad, a landing page ad, and a PDF guide ad. All right. So a listing ad is about a listing. It could be about just listed. It could be about coming soon. It could be about open house, or it can be about, something sold. Now, I want to point out that when a property is sold or under contract or pending or acts contingent, some later stage, our call to actions, I'll show them. They're designed to get listing leads. Okay. When you have something early stage, like coming soon, just listed, or open house, it's designed to get buyer leads. So you can use the same listing at multiple times to get different kinds of leads. Now, before I create a listing ad, I want to go over to the listing page, and I'm going to remind you while I do that remember I was showing you, and I know some people are coming on late here, so I'm going to just kind of pop over to our mastermind group real quickly. Let's see here. I'll wait for that to pick up. Sorry, things seem to be moving a little bit slowly. What's the problem here, guys? Get me to the mastermind group. Yeah. So in our mastermind group, I was mentioning that Kelly Wheeler came in, I think about a day ago, and he's like, "Hey, I'm getting all these leads." And he did it by borrowing an agent's listing. Okay. So I want to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to run the ad in just a second here. But what he did, and I was actually talking to a realtor this morning who was brand new to the business, like just cut license, hasn't done a thing. And she Googled and found us. And it's funny because she said, "Yeah, I joined this office and they don't have any technology for us, like nothing." And I said, "Well, you lucked out to find us because we do so much and it will definitely help you." And I pointed her to the YouTube channel. But she told me that she was doing an open house last weekend. And I said, "Well, what you got to do is you got to go to listings, click on add listing here, and click this button that says grab listing and drop in the zip code and the MLS ID for that property and deselect this so we don't make YouTube video and grab it." Okay. And that creates all kinds of tools in here, right? So here I've got an open house. So now, if you grab a listing, it's going to show up. And if you want to market a listing, it's got all these things going, right? Now, the first thing we actually drop you on is Facebook ads, because that's the first thing we think you should be doing to run an ad. And to run an ad, you just go, bam, create an ad. Okay. And that's how easy it is to create an ad on Facebook now. You'll notice that mine is sponsored by Listings to Leads, and that's because I'm connected to Listings to Leads. But remember, I said your first step is to connect your business page. So your business page is going to be the sponsor, right? So I'm going to go back to the ads tab. I brought us over here to listings to show you how to pull in a listing, because even like Kelly Wheeler over here borrowed a listing this weekend. He's got 18 leads with name, phone number, and email, right? And that's something that you can act on, right? And so when we go back to the ads page and I say, okay, we can create a listing ad, let's just go back and find that open house I was showing you just a moment ago. So you can you can do it from two places, but I just want to kind of keep us focused here. We're going to keep it on lead ads. And if you never read it, what that means is we get a name, email, and phone number pre-populated from the Facebook profiles. Our clients love that. They love leads with phone numbers. But if you ever ask somebody to type in their phone number on an online web form, 99% of people will leave the page, don't want to fill that out. But when Facebook pops it up automatically, people say, yes, that's why Kelly's got all these leads, phone numbers. So here we're looking, we got here to the same property. It was an open house. Again, all you got to do is click publish. All the boxes that you needed to check were done automatically, right? So I mentioned that you need to click like 10 or 15 boxes. Well, we have a software, so we know by what you're clicking, what your goal is, and we check the correct box for you. And when we go here, the only thing that you might need to check, this is what the ad's going to look like. It's going to be sponsored by your business page. You see this text is dynamically pulled in, but there might be something about this property that's not showing up on this front, page here. And if there is something, type it in yourself like I'm doing here. Okay. And so sometimes create schools, there's a high school or something that's like important and that, just add that, right? And then publish. Okay. That's how easy it is. And that's how Kelly over here generated 18 leads from probably a $35 ad, which is our default. So you can see here, when we're looking for buyer leads, we put a $35 ad, that's your max spend, and it's a 7-day ad. Okay. So that's a great way to get buyer leads, whether it's your own listing or it's not your listing. So I'm going to back up and I'm going to show you that you can also create a listing ad on a property that's sold. And it's funny because I've been talking to realtors for so long, and often they'll say, God, I don't know if I can use your program anymore because I just sold all my properties. Right. And, I can't even tell you like what kind of headache it's because like, do you want more listings? Because if you like more listings, why not run an ad on a sold property? You can see this property is sold and it says it right up top, that address is sold. That affects your home value. Click here to get your updated home value, right? So this again is capturing name, email, and phone number. We even ask what your time frame is to sell, like 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and longer, right? We ask that question, and let me tell you, if somebody tells you they want to sell in 1 to 3 months, you should really get serious about converting. I will tell you this right now, one of the fastest trending searches on Google is how to sell my home. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that we're going to be adding Google. We're in beta with Google in our platform, but the number one search engine on the internet, definitely in the United States, so I think of the world, the internet in general, is Google. And so people are typing in sell my home, right? And why would they do that? Well, obviously they want to sell their home and they don't know a realtor to call, right? They have no idea. That's why this is a trending search right now as we speak today. So yes, you should probably, if you knew how to run an ad on Google, get in front of that search, right? But what I can tell you is people only spend a few minutes on Google per day, right? Like they do their search, they get their answer. You can see these are ads up here that people are paying for. And I'm just going to click on one. And then they're off of Google, right? And they go down whatever rabbit hole they clicked on, right? But what's very different from Google is Facebook. And Facebook, the average American spends about 40 minutes every day here. Okay. And when they go here, they're not going to our mastermind group, right? They're just scrolling down and looking at stuff. I'm gonna pause my ad blocker. I have this thing built in. And so the reason why I pause that is I want to show you what is really happening on Facebook. So when you come to this page, this is the news feed in the center. You'll always see something from one of your friends, right? Here's a picture of my friends, and there they are. The next thing you see is going to be a sponsored ad. Okay. This one is from the local art museum. Okay. But your ad is going to look like this, and it's going to show up right here based on your target. And in my case, it's everybody who lives within 15 miles of Auburn, Indiana. Okay. So if you log into Facebook and you live within 15 miles of Auburn, Indiana, you're going to see this. And when you click learn more, because you saw it here, like here, if I click learn more, I think it's going to take me to a web page from the art gallery. But when we click learn more on our ads, and when anybody clicks learn more on our ads, this sort of chat panel pops up, right? Let me see if I can, this is a chat panel of just my friends. So you see this, it's got like a Dave Brubeck video in it. That window pops up and it says, would you like more information on this property or on whatever it is your ad is about? And there's only one answer. It's yes, submit. And their name, email, and phone number is already populated from their profile. Okay. That's why this is so effective. So you definitely want to be using ads here, right? In this case, we're going to get listing leads. Now, I want to point out in a broader discussion, as I mentioned, people spend a lot of time on Facebook on a daily basis. They're looking at it on their phone, right? You might be looking at Facebook right now, listening to my boring, chat here. People look at it on their driving when they're at lunch, they're looking at Facebook. And that's why it's so valuable for you to run ads there. I mentioned earlier, I just spoke to an agent just, 2 hours ago, who's brand new to the industry, like just licensed. And she was like, I'm not, I don't have all my systems in place, but I'm trying to figure it out. And I said, well, honestly, I would tell any new agent that you need to have at least a $200 a month budget for Facebook. And you need to make a mixture of ads, like 2 ads per week, one on the listing, one on a landing page or PDF guide ad. And I said, if you spend $200 a month, remember that when I'm going to do a property here that is in contract. So I got to kind of click here and click that button that's in contract. When you create that ad, each ad, she was in Orlando, Florida. I said, every ad that you run for $30 is probably going to be seen by 2,000 to 3,000 people. And she was telling me like, well, I got a website, right? And can I snap your tools into my website? I said, yeah, you can. There are some tools that you can snap into your website. And I said, but nobody's going to find your website, right? Like they're only going to find your website if you give them the website address or they know your name, which means that they're not quite a lead at that point. They're not like just, you're not filling the top of your funnel there. So I said, it's not, and I said, here's the thing. Every time you run an ad, 2,000 to 3,000 people see it sponsored by your business page up here. You won't capture 2,000 leads, but you're building your brand. I said, and I can say this to all of you, and I can say this to any agent. There's not even 1 out of 100 agents who have 2,000 people hit their website on the internet on a monthly basis. But one ad is going to be seen 2,000 times. You'll see it in your results. Your reach was 1, 2, 3,000 people, right? So you're building your brand with Facebook, and based on how much money you have on this ad, you're going to get leads, right? As people click on it, you're going to get leads. So I definitely recommend that everybody has, $200, $300 budget. If you're somebody operating with, 4 or 5 listings at a time, you're going to want a bigger budget. That's just how it's going to be. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about the PDF guide ads. Okay. Now we have over 80 PDF guides. Half of them are for buyers and half are for sellers. And you can download them right here, right? There's a little white button, 5 dangers of overpricing. That's going to be a relevant topic, right? You can download it and you will recognize that you are branded on every page of every PDF guide. But let's just say you want to run an ad. All you do is click create an ad. And when you do that, we've pre-written the ad. In this case, you do need to type in the name of the city because it's not really recognizing a city. So I just type in Tampa. And you can expand the radius if you want. I don't know where you live, but if you're willing to drive 30 miles, then maybe you want to show your ad out in a 30-mile radius. Now, because we're looking for homeowners, my ad is $50 instead of $35. So when we're looking for buyers, the ads are cheaper. You can change this number yourself, but I do want to kind of tell you a little bit about what's going on. You have to have minimum of $5 a day, and for Facebook to even have this fee. So this ad function, this is a 7-day ad. So let me just show you right now. I'm going to change this to $25. And you notice how I'm getting this red mark, like it has to be at least $35 because it's $5 a day. Right. So it's saying it's got to be at least $35. And that makes sense. It's 7 days. So it's $5 a day. Right. But let me tell you something, and you don't totally need to understand this. Facebook sets the price per lead. Okay. And let me see here if we've got, we'll go here. The price per lead means this is called pay per click advertising. Okay. PPC for short, pay per click. So if you're running a $35 ad, every time somebody clicks on it, it chews off part of that $35. And depending on the kind of ad you're running, the lead could cost more or less. When you're running an ad for a home that's for sale, those are buyer leads. And Facebook charges you less for buyer leads. Okay. They charge anywhere from $1. Let's see here. I know he gives his price. I think he says it here. I can't remember what he's getting for the price of his buyer leads, but in general, there are between $1.50 and $2 a lead. Okay. So if you're running a buyer ad for $35, you might expect around 20 leads. But when you're running a seller ad, you're trying to get listing leads. And we put this as $50. when you're running a PDF guide ad, and this is just generally speaking, on average, these leads cost $10 each. Okay. And I'm gonna show you on the seller side what's going on when on this cost per lead. But if you're running a $50 ad and you start to realize that, hey, these leads cost $10 each, you really can only expect about 5 leads. Okay. So once you get familiar with that and you get familiar with the process and the conversion, well, you can always add. We definitely have clients running $100 ads, right? Because now they're going to get 10 leads. But you don't want to do that till you really know what the process is and your interaction with all that. So that's running. What the heck is that? Sorry, I clicked the back button. It took me to a weird page. So that's running a PDF guide. And I did mention that you can do this for either buyers and sellers. So I want to show you a couple of more things about that. So PDF guide ad. You can also, if you're in a Spanish speaking area, you could flip this to Spanish. And I'm not quite sure what these are, but when you click create ad, we will translate the whole PDF. We also translate the ad. So if you're in a market, I mean, we've got a lot of clients in the Dominican Republic and Miami and or all around the country. So if that's your target, you can totally do that as well. Right. So now I want to show you landing page ads. And this is where it starts to get a little bit squirrely. I'm going to put it on free home values. This is one of the number one types of ads that realtors have been running for nearly 10 years. What is your homework? Okay. And I'm going to take a quick pause here to talk again about our YouTube channel. Okay. And I set this link to all of you at the beginning of the call, but again, if you're watching this as recording, you're going to see 2 classes down here that say the best way to get listings from Facebook and the new strategy to get high quality listings from Facebook. And those are really related to this kind of ad. Now, long ago, this used to be an awesome ad to run on Facebook. Like you could target homeowners, you could target by zip code, you could even target net worth and all kinds of wacky stuff and get high quality listing. That was probably 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You could do that. For years, you could do that. And it was awesome. But then Facebook started to have problems. They started to get agents running illegal ads, meaning discriminatory ads. And they also had like election tampering stuff. So they've had their hands slapped. And now the result is you cannot target with Facebook the way you could 5 years ago. So if you're running a generic ad like this, and let's just say, I'm going to say Tampa, it doesn't often work. It's frustrating for agents because they're like, oh, I've seen it. Everybody's been doing it. And I hear so many great things about these kinds of ads. But what you don't realize is things have changed and it doesn't quite work the way it used to. And so I'm going to give you another example of this. First of all, running super generic ads makes no sense. Now, if you are doing what I've been saying, which is you should be running 2 ads a week, and you're doing that consistently, this might work for you. Because if you can imagine running 8 ads a month, spending, $200-$300 a month, your business page is going to be seen 15 to 20,000 times every month. Okay. So your brand and your identity of you bringing value and being a realtor, it really starts to sink in on the market. You can have lots of clients like, people are just calling me at random because they're seeing my ads all the time on Facebook. That's really what advertising is about, right? We talk about it in terms of capturing leads and then dripping on leads and converting leads, but wouldn't it be a lot nicer if people just called you because they knew you were a realtor? Well, when you're running ads consistently, that's what starts to happen. Now, I'm going to show you a better kind of ad, but I really am going to slow down here because I want you to understand how Facebook works and how it doesn't work, right? Why you can have all kinds of like non-productive ads. And to show you that, I'm going to show you my ad for Pleasantville. Okay. I'm going to leave it on lead ad so I get an Amy amount on it. But I want you to understand the weakness of Facebook. Okay. This is an ad for Pleasant Hill. Pleasant Hill is a neighboring area just next to my home, right? Like I'm in Lafayette and like a mile away is Pleasantville. So if I type in Pleasant Hill, if I can, well, I can't tighten this radius to anything less than 15 miles. That's the first major problem. Okay. And I'll show you why. Let's go over here to the World Wide Web and search on Pleasant Hill. Now, if I click on this, and this is going to be different because you guys are in various parts of the country. So this could work for you, but for a lot of clients, running that kind of ad doesn't work. So I don't know if you can see it right here, but there's a white little section in this map. That's Pleasant Hill. From north to south, it is about 5 miles. From east to west, it's about 3 miles. And there's about 33,000 people who live in there. It's a really great, nice homes, kind of middle income homes, just great area to have, some great neighborhoods and all that. But if I click this map here, you see how big this map is here, everything you see, all of these people, that's a 15-mile radius of Pleasantville. So when I run it out, it's going to be all over the place, but I'm only talking about Pleasant Hill. Okay. And so a lot of realtors will say, well, I actually don't want to run an ad on every little town, right? I want to run an ad for my county, Bucks County, Brevard County, whatever. Now, I don't know if you guys own homes, but if you want to sell your home, you're going to want top dollar, right? Let me show you. This is the county I live in, Contra Costa County. It covers almost this entire thing. It's a little bit too big, but I can tell you homes up here in this north right section can cost anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 and up, right? Homes over here in Lafayette and Orinda and Moraga, you can't get in for under $1 million here, right? And over here, these homes are all $2 to $20 million homes. Okay. So if you put something in front of me talking about Contra Costa County, I don't care because I want top dollar for my home in my town. So I want to know that you know about my town. And that's a big reason why on Pleasant Hill, I've got a picture of the new mall on my ad so that you know that I am familiar with your area. Generic does not work. Remember, you're running an ad, getting contact information from people who don't even know who you are. So generic does not work. County does not work. You need to have a town. And even for some places, you might have a neighborhood, right? Like we've got a lot of clients in big town, cities in Texas, Dallas and all this. And Dallas is huge. So when you're running an ad, it's almost going to be like a development or a neighborhood that's going to get more effective. I'm going to show you one I got here for Release Valley. Now, Release Valley is in my town, Lafayette. It's a neighborhood of Lafayette. Okay. And I don't know if you can see, there's a picture of a swimming pool there. There's only one road that goes into Release Valley. And everything on there is like big acres. I'm in the Bay Area. For you to have acres in the Bay Area, it's millions, right? It's a lot of money. And that's what that is. But for me to run an ad, I need to let people know that I know your area. And that swim club is on the corner as you enter Release Valley. So if you know the swim club, you kind of know Release Valley, right? And vice versa. This is an important thing. I set up the offices around the country and I train offices whenever I set them up. And I remember setting up Coldwell Banker in Summit, New Jersey, and their manager, after we did the rollout calls, they're like, wow, This is awesome. We're getting all kinds of leads. And the number one ad for getting listings is the one that has the picture of Summit Diner in the back of the page, right? And that totally makes sense to me because Summit has 22,000 people. This is an old converted rental car. You know, you get the greasy bacon and eggs in the weekend. And if you know Summit Diner, you know Summit, New Jersey. So that is the confidence builder that you need when you're trying to ask people for their name, email, and phone number, right? So that's kind of a long-winded story about how Facebook works and how it doesn't work. Let me show you Release Valley so we can kind of get an idea. This is let me do a search on Lafayette so you can see Lafayette, right? Lafayette, California. And it's right now, like I mentioned, it's right next to Pleasant Hill. And here's Lafayette, right? And Release Valley is right here. It's this section over here in the top, this little white part, right? Okay. So with Facebook advertising in a 15-mile radius, you're not going to target that at all, right? You're just overspraying all over the place, right? Again, a 15-mile radius is way the heck out here. You're all these people in all these other towns. And let me tell you, when somebody clicks on that ad, this ad, what is your home value worth? This kind of ad has been used by realtors for many years. And Facebook knows this is a very valuable ad and valuable lead to realtors. So they charge the most on this. We have seen these leads cost $12 to $15. Now, I think for a lot of realtors, that is a great price for a listing lead, especially when you're getting phone numbers with it. So it's not that I'm telling you not to do it, but what I am letting you know is there are cheaper ways of getting listing leads, like running an ad on a just sold or running an ad on a property that is under contract or pending, right? The call to actions are again saying that's going to affect your home value when it sells. So those are the cheapest ad. We had a client come in just 2 months ago and I'm going to just show you what he did. He said, I ran an ad on a home. It was a listing ad on a home that was in contract. Okay. Now let's create the ad. And the language again says when that home sells, it's going to affect your home value. Okay. Now Facebook is they don't know how to price this. So these leads cost the cheapest. This client came in the mastermind group and said, I just generated a bunch of listing leads with name, email, and phone number for $2.38. Okay. That's how cheap a listing lead is when you're running it that way. Now you got to kind of write it. I think you had to kind of modify it a little bit to make sure to get people to respond, but that's $2.38 as opposed to running an ad offering free home value for whatever town, right? Which is going to cost you $12 to $15. Having a mix of ads is smart for your business, right? But there's also, you want to create a database of homeowners, right? And things like that. And you can do it at $2.40 or you can do it at $12 a lead. It's your choice. But I have been showing you why this 15-mile radius really works against you, right? So remember I told you about these classes here that say the new strategy to get high quality listings and best way to get listings. They're going to tell you in more detail what I'm going to tell you now. Our clients have been buying or obtaining lists of homeowners from other companies. They're getting them from their title partner. They're getting them from companies like Remine. I think HomeSnap has that. Some MLSs have it as well, right? So let's go back to the Pleasant Hill story and let me explain to you how it would apply to Pleasant Hill. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask. So I'm going to create a landing page ad for Pleasant Hill. You know that's the little town right next to mine. What's the problem here? Create that there. And you already know that I'm going to overspray because I got 15 miles, right? Radius. So what clients are doing is they're buying a list of homeowners in Pleasant Hill, right? And some clients are getting a list with like 5 years equity. They've owned it for at least 5 years. You could do that. I think Remine actually gives you a grade like likely or not likely, or, more likely, super likely to sell. I don't know how really reliable that data is. I think what you really should be doing is getting a list of all homeowners in your town. And just be clear, it's very important what I'm going to tell you. That list has to be a minimum of 1,000 people deep. Okay. It cannot be a list of 100 homeowners. It's got to be at least 1,000. And so you can find, you get that list. It can even be as big as 20,000. But once you get that, you upload it to Facebook as a custom audience. Okay. And let me show you where you do that. You go over to the ad section and let's give it a second to do its thing. You'll notice that there's a blue button here that says create audience. So you click that, you name your audience, whatever you want to call it, right? I'll say Pleasant Hill homeowner. And you upload it. You upload it and it says at least 1,000 leads. This is the format. So it should be in Excel and it should look exactly like this. Okay. And then you upload it and you import it and create. And what this does is it creates a custom audience inside of your personal Facebook account, and it will live there forever. Okay. So even if you cancel listings to leads, if you go to your own Facebook account, that audience is going to be sitting there and you can retarget them. Right. So if you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go run an ad not on the landing page. I'm just going to, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to say, hey, I've uploaded a list of Pleasant Hill homes and I now want to create a home value ad for those people. Let's go through this again. I could type in Pleasant Hill up here and I will just for, so we all kind of know like you should do that. But if I click retarget ad and I type in the name of my file, I've only got one that's called the buyer and seller on it. But if I had one that's called Pleasant Hill homeowners, right? I could just type in Pleasant Hill homeowners and boom, it would show up there. And now that targeted list that I got from another party, those are the only people that are going to see this ad. That's when this kind of ad becomes really powerful. And it's really a great way of getting selling. When I mention this page on our videos, there's a call that says top tools to get more listings. And what you will notice if I talk about that, our top tools to get more listings is actually a print flyer. Okay. It's a print that you print and you mail into the neighborhood. So if you're buying a list of people to mail to, you should upload that same list into Facebook and run an ad to it at the same time. So you're going to get in front of those people in multiple ways. Okay. So that's kind of the story of how to make Facebook home value ads work. Now there's one other section I want to talk about, and that is landing pages. Now, when you sign up for listings to leads, you actually get 3 landing pages: free home values, down payer assistant, and new construction. If you go run an ad on this landing page, well, it's really generic, right? I don't even know if this suburban street looks like your neighborhood, right? If it doesn't, this is definitely not going to be very effective, right? So you always want to kind of edit this with a photograph, and you can just see the big edit button right there to make that kind of look like your area, right? Does that make sense? So you can also create your own landing pages. You can see I have one here for San Antonio, right? Texas. And that's a picture of the Riverwalk. I've got one here for Brookhaven. Brookhaven is in Texas. I can't remember what town it's in, but it's a golf course community, right? So you can actually snap in a video. You can create a video of you talking about Brookhaven if you want, or you talking about your town and say, hey, you know what? I sell 50 homes this year and I know all this and that. And then boom, you create that. And then you can run an ad. So you can create any landing page for any particular area that you want, right? And then once you've created that landing page, you can go to the ads tab over here and you can create the ad that you want, right? Just like I've been showing you. So that's kind of the story, everybody. Are there any questions of what we've been talking about? No, as I'm just waiting for, I'm going to click on landing page, and all my custom landing pages are available down here at the bottom, right? One thing that I didn't mention, again, if you got questions, let me know. One thing that we've been doing when we create PDF guide ads is I'm going to do one on seller. I'm going to do one for divorce and real estate. And we always have like a static image, right? We've chosen it, we created it, but you can also click on change image / video. And you will notice that we've also created videos. I'll click this one here and insert it. We've created videos for all of our PDF guides. Now, I don't know if you know this, but on social media, video is more effective than just a photograph, just a still photograph, right? And that makes sense, right? Everybody's like shotting moving objects, right? And so this is already created for you. It's moving, it's got information, and that's just going to slow people's eyes down long enough to read what your value proposition, right? And if they want to download it, of course, they can download it just like that. But that's the nature, that's part of social media. Everybody's kind of ADD in the world now. If it's not moving, it's not slowing anybody's eyes down. So we're making it easier for you to be more effective. And I think using our video there. So any questions about what I have been discussing today? Or any questions on the rest of the platform? That's kind of my story for Facebook ads, guys. Well, I don't see any. So I want to remind you, we have looked at the mastermind group a couple of times today. You can't find this mastermind group if you go to Facebook, unless you're in it. So to get into the mastermind group, go to your support page down here and just say, please add me to the mastermind group. And if there's anything that if you can't find an answer, you can always put the support group is great. They'll get you the answers of what you need on any topic. Well, that's my story today, guys. I can tell you this, our goal here at Listings to Leads is to give agents as many ways to capture good quality leads as possible, right? And that means from wherever it's going to be. So as new platforms get created, we are looking at it and we're keeping an eye on it. So we certainly have our eyes on TikTok. We had our eyes on Snapchat. People got really excited about Snapchat years ago. It's just sort of fallen apart. It's not really, never been effective. I don't really even know if TikTok is going to be effective, but we are helping agents create, I'll show you this right now. We're giving them on the listings page a what do you call it? A template or a text. See, I've got an open house here. We have one for every listing. It's called a short video script. So we're giving you a script to create your own video. And then you can upload it to Instagram, to YouTube, to TikTok. And we just are pre-writing it for you, right? Just hold your fancy smartphone up and knock it out, right? And then use it wherever you want. And as I mentioned, we're adding Google to the platform. And I will say, I keep referencing Kelly's thing, and he actually said something that was, kind of cool. He's like, hey, you don't know this, but, and I'm telling you, you don't know this probably. On your profile, you can actually get an affiliate link. So if you're in an area where you're talking to your other, you see it says earn 15% recurring, become a partner. When you click that, it's saying, hey, let's set up an affiliate link. And all it really asks for is your PayPal email. And once you drop that in, we give you a web page that you can share with your friends. And when they sign up, you get 15% of that cost of that subscription, as long as they're a client. Kelly was referencing in this call, but he's like, listen, I've got people using my link and now I'm not even paying for Facebook ads because my revenue from that is covering the cost of my ads. So that's not a bad point. I remember watching this. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it's something that's available to all of you, and feel free to use that link. It's on your profile. And all you need is a PayPal account. And then we just on a monthly basis, drop money into your account. So everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget, this call is being recorded and it's going to be on this page, and you should have a link to this page already. So take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.